Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode on the Cerebral Cricketer podcast. Today we're a very, very special guest on the show. I'm joined here by Aryan Sharma. Aryan is a right-handed batsman and left-arm orthodox spinner from Victoria. He has represented Australia at under-19 level and is part of the Australian under-19 setup and has come through the Victorian cricket pathway. And he's also been involved in the Melbourne Stars environment and continues to build his career as one of the young players coming through Australian cricket. So thank you for coming onto the show, our first in-person podcast. So
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, I know you were talking previously, like you had some running and stuff like that with the Victorian team. So give us a bit of a rundown about, I guess, what your trainings are like with the boys for Victoria and Melbourne.
At the moment, we've been doing a lot of running and gym stuff. We just started hitting again. We had our first skill session 2 days ago. I couldn't be there because I was at an ACA meeting, but so really just gym and running, and that's about it really for now.
So like with the gym, what sort of workouts do you do? Because I know for yourself, you're like all-rounder, right-handed batsman and left arm ortho. So I'm sure it's a bit different to like a pace bowler and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's similar, but I probably have to work on mobility as well, not getting too stiff, and working on more functional fitness. Like our mantra is really like 50% legs, 30% trunk, and then the rest just the upper body. So big focus on our leg strength and stuff, and then everything else sort of just falls in.
And so with mobility, I actually saw a video. I think it was like Scott Boland and Todd Murphy, some guy on Instagram and doing some mobility exercise. So how does that look like? Like, is it close to yoga or is it something a lot different?
It's like deep stretching, if you guess, like unlocking all your hips and hamstrings, and also strengthening as well. The strengthening aspect is very important, and I guess you see Todd Murphy and Scotty Boland, how fit they are for the whole year. Scotty's getting ready for a test match series in Bangladesh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see how they go about it and take some points off them.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can imagine for yourself, you young player, like young cricketer coming through the ranks. What's it like being with these kind of experienced blokes, learning from them, training with them?
Oh, it's been amazing and super grateful for it. Like, these guys have been at the top of state cricket and international cricket. Like players like Maxi, just listening to some of the things he has to say, whether it's in the field, batting, bowling, anything he has to say is just very important. Like, all the boys are very humble and always down for a chat. So I feel like it's been crucial the last year or so. All the meetings with them and just watching them, how they go about their business.
And who do you think has impressed you the most, and what learnings have you taken whilst being among such players?
They're all pretty impressive. I'd probably say Maxi, just with all the things he's done in world cricket, like the 200 he made against Afghanistan. It's a pretty cool thing to experience and watch, and just learning from the guy that's done so much for the game. And he's still yet so humble, still comes in and still does his work and goes about his business.
That 200 was actually insane. What were you up to? Like, did you watch it live or watch the highlights?
I was watching live, and then I fell asleep around when he was on 100. And then I woke up in the morning, I saw he's got a double 100 and they've won the game. So that was a pretty good thing to wake up to.
Yeah, I think when you have players like that have achieved the impossible and you're sort of learning off them, I think there's a lot to take from them and a lot to sort of pick up on, the way they play. Like, I assume like it's obviously very hard to replicate someone like Maxwell. So do you feel like, are you able to take, specific aspects of his batting into your own batting, or do you have your own sort of unique way of batting that you just kind of observe aspects of Glenn and the way he bats? It could just be his power hitting or something very specific and incorporate it, or is it from like, you're not looking to sort of take everything on board because it's hard to copy someone like him?
Exactly. Like, I think everyone's going to have their own ways of finding success, and just identifying how that looks for you. I think that's an important thing, because when you're new and when you're coming through the system, and you might get caught up in listening to a lot of people, where you should just be keeping it simple, and you shouldn't really be overcomplicating things, because you got to figure out what works for you.
And so I know, like, looking into your background and, the games you played for different teams, all that kind of stuff, you've actually batted like up and down the order, right? Like in some, like, I'll say age group cricket, you're like, opening the batting, for example, and sometimes you're batting down the order. So how would you define yourself? Would you say you're like top order batsman that's sort of, because of your left arm orthodox, you're offering that variety to the team? Or do you see yourself as a genuine all-rounder that can bat anywhere? Like, how do you see yourself?
I believe I'm a genuine all-rounder and I can bat anywhere. I think at the moment, entering into my professional career, like we saw at the World Cup, I was in that finishing role and bowling like my 10 overs and fielding in hotspots. So I think going into my professional career, I feel like I will start off more bowling and then finishing games. So one of my big focuses this year is how can I finish games, and how can I set up a target if we're batting first. Marcus Stoinis was saying he entered his career like also batting a bit lower down, and he says people don't realize how important those roles are. People that bowl and bat and then field as well, they're like vital to any team. So I feel like he said if you can really nail that finishing role, which is one of the hardest roles because you're coming in last 10 overs, last 5 overs, 15 if you're lucky. So you don't have a lot of time to get set, but if you can really master that role, you'll be wanted by everyone.
That's interesting bringing that up because in the Under-19 World Cup, you're actually in that kind of finishing role. And as well, in the semi-final, if I'm not mistaken, against England, you actually came in a very pressure situation, right? So like in the halfway stage, you were chasing basically 278. Oliver Peake got some runs, and then you came in at 5 for 134 chasing, right? So
Yeah.
coming out of a pressure situation in a semi-final against England, which are a very strong team, how are you feeling at that point in the game?
To be honest, it all felt like the first innings, we felt like we'd done well and kept into a decent target. Like we didn't think we were ever out the game at any point. And then you see the first 10 overs unfold. Like we don't get off to that flyer. Our openers don't go how they usually go. Because if you see all the other games we've played during the Super 6 or round stages, our openers would get off to a flyer and we'd win it 1 down. And we never really got to that stage. Like that was my second time batting the whole tournament. But I felt very confident going into that situation because I'm like, there's only one way. There's only 2 ways this can go. Either we win and I'm a hero, or we don't and it's end of the story. But I think the main thing was in that situation, like I had to stay in the present. And Peake was just saying one thing to me, just don't shy away, play your game. Even though like we're 5 for 130, just play your shots. And then it kind of came off pretty well, and I was hoping I could have kept going for another 5-10 overs and maybe the result would have been different, but who knows.
Yeah, I mean, because you're definitely like, playing really aggressive and, scored a lot of boundaries in that innings as well. So did you feel nervous in that sense, or were you just like, because in that pressure situation, did you have like psychological tools and skills that you utilized to help you keep present?
So a month before the World Cup had started, or a month and a half before, I started working with someone for Breathwork, similar to what Harjus was doing. I was doing ice baths every day, doing stuff with the like oxygen mask, control how I can control my breathing in those pressure situations. So that really helped a lot. And then, like you said, was I nervous in that situation? Maybe when I was walking to the wicket, yeah, and facing up first ball. Like first ball, everyone usually has a few nerves, but then I hit my first ball for 4, and from there on, I didn't look back. It was just go mode.
Okay, that's amazing. So when you were facing up, for example, like, and you're trying to keep present, are you watching the ball closely out of the bowler's hand when it's coming in, and are you trying to pick up the length early? Like, what's your cues as a batsman to help you, make sure that you get bat on ball and you're staying focused as much as possible? I know you mentioned breathwork, but was there anything else like in that situation when you're actually facing up?
In that semi-final, I don't know, everything felt like it clicked. Like I just felt like it was all in one motion. Like I had no thoughts. I was just batting. I was just watching and reacting to the ball. And I just didn't feel like the ball missed the bat until obviously I got out. But I don't feel like it was just perfect. It felt so clear. And I think when you get to that stage when you feel clear and nothing's in your head and you're just reacting purely to the ball, I feel like that's when you see your most success.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's obviously easier said than done, right? Getting to that state as a batsman. And on days that you don't feel like you're at that state, what do you do to help you try to perform at your best?
Obviously, you can't make runs when you're not on the wicket. So the longer you spend on the wicket, the easier it becomes. Spending time on the wicket is probably going to be one of my bigger focuses, because if you've seen like the way I play, I rarely play 100 balls in an innings, and I think a goal should be of mine this year, especially with the club cricket. If I do get the chance, making sure I'm batting as long as possible for the team, obviously, because one of our coaches at Carlton, he said there's no negative of you batting longer. So say if you're 30 or 50 balls or 30 or 60 balls in a red ball game, like you batting there is better, because the next guy coming in, it's going to be harder for him. So almost take that as a sign of it's fine, because I'm doing something good for the team and it's almost benefiting my team. It's no negative downside in me batting longer, because if anything, once I get going, then.
And it's hard, obviously, because you got like different formats, right? You got like the shorter format of the game, and you got the longer format, which you're talking about. So how do you adjust for periods where, like, for example, you have to maybe bat longer when there's a lot of wickets even in the shorter format, but then you still got to bat at a decent rate, right? Like that can be a bit stressful for players as well, versus maybe in the longer format where you don't, like, you can just kind of bat and not worry about the scoreboard pressure. Like, do you use the same psychological tools and the same approach in both situations, or like, or do you just actively consider like, okay, this is a longer format, I can just take it easy, versus snap, like, shorter format, I have to score at 7, 8, 9 runs and over here, and then I have to do something different here?
I feel like there was a lot of talk about this last year. Red ball, white ball, you have to change. There's actually not much change to red ball and white ball. I think you should still be in that attacking frame of mind. In red ball still, it's like if you get a half volley first ball, if you back yourself to hit it, I think you should hit it, and you shouldn't really back away from your shots, regardless what colour the ball is. So I think you should be playing the situation and really seeing what the team needs. That's a really big focus of Evan Gulbis, one of our coaches at Carlton, our head coach. He says, always take into consideration what the team needs in that situation. If you're hitting a 6, what does that have impact on the game? Say we need 180 of 30 overs. What's that? What's the run rate on that?
What's on 170 of
170 of, say, 30 overs.
I mean, it'll be less than maybe 6.
So 6 and over. Just have that. Do I really need to hit that 6 as a high risk shot, or could I just keep hitting singles and doubles and playing lower risk cricket when the rate's at 6? But say if the rate's at 12s, that 6, me hitting that 6, that's a good risk. So taking good risk versus bad risk. So taking that into consideration. You obviously don't want to be thinking that in the situation, like when you're batting. But yeah, I think just playing the situation is very important, and doing what the team needs, especially. Like if you need to get 30 or 15, I mean, I know everyone wants to make 100 or get to a milestone, but sometimes a 20 off 5, 6 balls, that's more impactful for the team. Or if you need to make 30 off 250 balls to draw a game. So there's different scenarios, and whatever the team needs in that situation, I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I also wanted to touch on your sort of journey growing up and playing cricket, and especially like, being in Victoria as well. Like it would have been a unique journey, especially, being, I guess, subcontinent background as well. Going through the cricket system would have been a unique journey in of itself. So like growing up, what made you interested in cricket? I mean, it's pretty stupid question to ask a Indian background guy, even for me, like Bangladeshi as well, like we all grew up, but like, how did you sort of get into cricket? Were you always like, I don't know, playing from a young age, like 3 years old, 4 years old, holding a cricket bat? Like, what's your...
As a kid, I was always very energetic and cheeky and naughty. So I felt like I needed something to put my mind to, rather than just being a reckless and naughty kid. So my dad took me to a coach one day, and he's been my coach the last 10, 12 years, I'd say. And I've never looked back since. I don't know. I guess I just enjoyed just playing and never looked back. And
did you always see yourself as a batsman or bowler or both?
I'd say growing up, I was heavily on the batting side. being my father being Indian, wanting to have a batsman, like that was the main focus. But then, the longer I started playing, I was wicket keeping for a bit as well. I was bowling pace at a certain time in my career. And these last, I'd say 4 or 5, maybe 4 years, been bowling spin, and it's been a really good move. Left arm off spin and right hand batsman. You don't really see that a lot world cricket. So I think just developing my bowling as much as possible to a stage where I can just get picked purely as a bowler as well.
Are you actually like left-handed, like when you write as well?
Yes, I'm really... actually. I write with my left hand. I eat with my left hand. I do everything with my left hand except like batting, of course.
Is that something you're coached into?
No, I think it's just natural. Like I never batted left-handed ever. Like right hand always felt natural. But then, like saying I'm playing tennis, I would like almost have a stance of like a left-handed batter.
Oh, okay.
And then golf is still right-handed for me.
So a bit like little bit ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous, if you can say. Yeah, you can say that.
So can you do stuff with your right hand, like even right?
No, I can't write with my right hand. Okay. I wish I could.
No, because that's pretty cool. Because why I asked is that not many players. I know a lot of international players. And like you can go through a list of like, for example, Adam Gilchrist bats left-handed, is right-handed actually.
Aaron Finch as well.
Aaron Finch, like so many, like David Warner, Michael Clark. Yeah. He's left-handed, but he's a right-handed bat, like yourself, right? Yes. So like heaps of international cricketers, but if you're talking about like club cricketers and stuff like that, it's actually less. You're gonna see less of it.
You don't see much of it. I think one of the good sides of being a left-arm bowler and a right-hand bat is your left hand is your top hand, and that's the dominant hand for me when I'm batting. So I think that's another good thing to have. And then left arm off spin, I think, is one of the most sought out for bowling in world cricket or any type of cricket. If you're left arm off spinner, like people be wanting you and you want to be in the team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of especially like as a spinner, right? Like adding, like there's not many in Australian cricket that are like left arm orthodox as well. So is that something that you picked up on and tried to work your way through? Like what made you stick to left-handed bowling?
I could never bowl left arm leg spin. It's too hard. So I just started bowling off spin, and I guess the longer and longer I bowled, I kept bowling, and now we've got a coach at CV. His name's Craig Howard. He's been a lot of help. He's helped Nathan Lyon, he's helped Todd Murphy get to the stages where they are, and I think if they're helping him, and they're both Australian international bowlers, so I think just really absorbing everything that he's saying and just listening to that, I think I've seen a massive difference already.
Because nowadays, it's obviously like bowling spin is not easy, right? Like, you know, especially with T20 cricket and people always trying to hit you and target you and stuff like that. So have you like sort of from a young age bowled a certain way and then coached into, I don't know, variations, all that kind of stuff? Or is that when it comes to early days, you were already trying, I don't know, quicker balls and flighter deliveries, or and then you just kind of used a coach to help you with maybe the tactical strategic side? So how did you approach, I guess, left? I
think I've always been a bit more to the white ball side with my bowling and batting as well. But I never really had a coach bowling spin. Like this is probably the first or second year. You obviously have your pathway coaches that help you develop through. I've been in the pathway the last 5 years. I can say like they've helped out a lot as well. So I thank them. But having Howie as a coach, like he just picks out the smallest thing, and that just makes the biggest difference. I think I've only been working with him for the last half of last year and start of this year. And he's helped me heaps, and I think I'm seeing massive improvements, and I can't wait for this year as well to see how far we go.
It's amazing. So So yeah, in terms of, I guess, also what's interesting as a batsman as well, were you always trying to, you know, power hit, you know, from a young age, you know, because you would have grown up in a situation where T20 cricket is like peaking, right? Like, because for myself, I grew up in the era of like Adam Gilchrist and Justin Langer, you know what I mean? So you're watching them, and Test cricket is like the norm, but I guess in your generation it's a lot different, right? You're like seeing, I don't know, Chris Gale and all these kind of
players. Chris Gale, Virat Kohli. Like Virat Kohli is one of the most influential cricketers, I feel like, in my career. I know he's Indian, but I do have a lot of Australian players that I look up to as well, but he was probably one of the ones that stood out to me when I was young, and still does. Obviously, you see the way he goes about it, like just his approach to the game and how much he's done for the game. Like, I wish to have a 10% of a career that he's had. So I think just playing the game with that much aggression, that just showed how far he could take the game. And then of course you got your Ricky Ponnings and Steve Smiths that just unreal, like with what they do, everything. Ricky's doing coaching now, and you can just see all the players he's been helping, they've been flourishing. So just shows he's done so much for the game while playing, and then also off the field as a coach.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, what is it about Virat Kohli that impressed you as a
Just
youngster?
his attitude, aggression, and I don't know, like watching him, like I think I watched India chase a game against Australia. It was a while back. I think they chased like 350 inside 40 overs. I think that's when Virat got 100 off 50, and they chased that one down. So I'm like, this guy's something else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, why I'm asking about Virat Kohli is because there was this viral moment on social media. You would have definitely seen it, and especially there was a lot of news articles around this. Like, you were, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2018, how old would you have been? You would have been like
I'm 18 13. Right now, so
like 11, 12, something like that.
Around there.
So you're 11 years old, right? 2018 Boxing Day Test match. You have a sign up saying, "Virat Kohli, you're my inspiration. Watch me play for Australia in 2025," right? And this is obviously Australia versus India at the Boxing Day Test match. And you wrote that, and there's a lot to unpack there. But the fact that you're so certain as a young age that, you know, you have this, firstly, you obviously have an aspiration to play for Australia, but then you're telling Kohli that, watch me in 2025. 2025 a very specific number. So tell us a bit more, what went behind that sign, and what got you to, you know.
I think in my head, obviously in 2018, I would have been 12 years old. 12?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I would have been 10, yes. Okay. So I would have been 10 years old, and I just thought, when I turn 18, I want to play for Australia. So I'm like, that was just in my head, 18. And I didn't really have much thought about it, but then I'm very thankful to my dad. He kept it up in my room, and it's still there in my room till this day. And I guess just looking at it for the past how many years, just looking, just seeing it every morning while I wake up, must have had something to do with it, maybe.
So that poster you'd made before that time you took it to the game?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many, like, was it a year before, 2 years before you?
Oh, no, I took it just purely for the game.
Okay, and then you kept it.
And then dad just held on to it. And then obviously he got selected for the Australian under-19 team to play in Brisbane against India. And that obviously came to light and went pretty viral. So
that's insane. Because a lot of people talk about, especially on social media, like manifestation, all that kind of stuff. Are you a big believer in manifestation? Do you feel like that is the fruits of manifestation?
I believe to this day, everything I speak it into existence. I have that much belief in anything I say, God will give me. And all glory goes to God. Everything I have so far in my life, of course, because of my family, but God as well. So yeah, I think just writing on a piece of paper may change something for you in the future. It doesn't have to be instant. It could be 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. But I think you gotta have genuine belief, and you rarely gotta have belief that whatever you write or speak about, you're gonna do it.
It's interesting because I've spoken to a lot of cricketers, and they've actually also echoed similar sentiments when it comes to belief in God. Do you feel like that's suddenly like a lot of cricketers are really about their faith and belief in God? Because it is like, you know, cricket is stressful, right? Like cricket is one of those sports, like, you know, you could get up over the most random things and be dismissed, and it's like sometimes a bit random, or like random runouts, or like, I don't know, you get man cat, I don't know, like
100%.
So like, you know, you can't control the result in that way, you know what I mean? So
like, well, you see Rishabh Pant, he had his really bad accident a few years back, and he's lucky to be playing, and all he says is, I'm very happy that I'm alive and I got the opportunity to have my life. He says, like, my life could have been taken like that. So I take a note from him and saying how grateful you should be to be alive. Like last week I had a pretty bad accident, and I'm happy. I'm fine, so that's good.
So what happened?
A truck hit me from the side, and
oh really, in your car?
Yeah, hit and run. So the car's there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So you were just driving on the highway, and then
I was driving on the highway, and then the truck obviously didn't see me. He started coming to my lane, and I was next to the barrier, and I couldn't really go anywhere. So
like, do you get injured, or like?
No.
Thankfully
everything's all good, and then the car's got a few scratches on it, but that's alright. Insurance will handle all that.
I mean, I guess that's an example. Like, you can't like plan your day in a way. You know,
100%.
like things happen. And you
I
just
was
have
coming
to
back
take it.
from training in the morning on Friday. Friday morning, we obviously had our session at Vic. Coming back from Junction Oval. Never would have thought that could have
And
happened.
traffic's bad around that time and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. But again, like, just I'm so grateful to be alive, and luckily nothing happened, and it wasn't that major. But I think that just shows how grateful I should be for God and whoever's protecting me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, gratitude is a big thing. Like, you know, every moment is a blessing, and sometimes, as long as we're in that positive mindset, things will happen in a way that's, you know, destined for us, right? So I think sometimes if we're dwelling on the negatives and
100%.
you know, and the outcomes what we want it to be our way, but you know, we don't have the full picture of things, right?
Like, out of that incident, I try to pick the positives out of that. Like, I try to say, oh, it's a sign from God. Maybe he's asking me to be more vigilant on the roads. So I really took that, and I said, you know what, rather than turning this into a negative, I'm going to try to find the best thing out of it. And I think I'm very grateful that happened. Of course, no one wants that to happen, but I think as long as I'm fine, I think it's just a lesson.
Yeah, it's amazing mindset as well. And I assume that, especially on the cricket field, like, you use that similar mindset, right? So how do you use that mindset in your game, whilst you're batting or bowling?
So you see, cricket is a game of failures, and you're going to have a lot of bad days. Not saying that you're only going to have bad days. It's just how do I put this? How you can learn from your failures. I think is one of the most important things you need to have in your life. Not repeating the same mistakes. So I think just really learning from sorry, I'm using a lot. Learning from all the mistakes that you make, and then learning how to handle the bad days as well, and still smile through all the negativity that's happening.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, back to the point about, I guess, the poster that you made and went to the game about, because actually in 2025 you did end up representing Australia U19, right?
Yeah.
And like all the articles, and I think it was like Punjabi news outlets and stuff like that, they were like reporting about it. So that was pretty cool how it like manifested in that sense. Like, how did you feel? How did your family feel? Like, you said you're looking at that poster for like, you know, a long time. It was in your room, and then it actually played out. Like, how does that make you feel? Because that would be a special thing, right? You know, of itself.
Oh, very special, very special. Like, just seeing my dad, my grandpa, my mum, whenever they're out, if anyone recognizes me, oh, you're his dad, or you're his mum, it just makes their heart fill with joy, and you can really see how happy they are. Like, again, everyone's probably just seen the journey of last few years. No one's probably seen the last 12 years I've been playing, and whatever dad, mum, grandpa, grandma, my sisters. So I think how many sacrifices they've made for me, I'm forever grateful.
And what sort of sacrifices have they made?
Like, my father, I barely now that I'm a bit more independent and older, I can drive the training and stuff. Dad's giving more time to my sisters as well, so that's good. I think because at the start, when I was going pretty flat out, he was driving me everywhere, and I'm forever grateful. Like, I was having a chat with one of our player development managers, and I was saying, it takes me 1 hour and 10 to come to training every day. Every morning I have to wake up. But he said to me, said this thing about, your father's been driving you here the last 6 years. Has he ever complained once? So that really put it into perspective how much they've really done for me, and I'm forever grateful for that.
That's crazy, yeah, because when it comes to, like, I've interviewed quite a few players at this point in time, and there's not a single player I've interviewed that's been like, oh, my parents weren't supportive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course, without parents' support, I don't think you'll go very far. Unless, obviously, like you see people like Yashashvi Jaiswal, like, he probably came off the streets, did pretty much everything himself, and then, of course, his coach at the time helped him through all the hardships. But yeah, I think without parents' support, I'd be nowhere.
And so on top of that as well, like, did your dad see talent in you and push you in that direction, or was he just being a supportive father in the general sense that, look, I'm just gonna do what I can and I'm not gonna be focused on that because I don't want to force my kid to be Virat Kohli, for example?
Exactly. So I think at the start, he didn't really care. Like, he would come drop me to training and then he'd go home, whatever. And he wasn't really that invested at the time because he didn't know. Like, back then, well, 10 years ago, you can't expect your kid to. You can't say, oh, he's going to play for Australia one day, like, at that stage. But then I'd say my coach really invested in me and really worked hard. Like just stuck at it. Like and then Dad obviously saw like the junior stuff, all the carnivals, state carnivals, everything. When that started to pick up, he started to be really invested. Even now, he still throws balls to me. Anything I need, he's just always there. And I think I'm very happy
amazing.
I have a father like him.
And with the carnivals as well, like they would have been like in a different state, right? So was he taking you there? What was that situation? Did you take a flight there? Like
we take a flight with a team, which is covered by Cricket Australia or Cricket Victoria, and then he flew there on his own and on his own expenses, whatever. He would always bring the family. He still brings family, and it turned into a little mini holiday for them. And so it's always good. But they get to see new places. Like I feel very grateful that because of the opportunities I've gotten with cricket, my family has seen a bit of the world. Like Dad came to Africa for one day, and that was the semi-final. We lost that day sadly, but he still made that trip from Melbourne to Africa, and I'm forever grateful. Like it takes a lot to come that far, and especially only for one day. Like there was no guarantee in us playing grand final. He still came.
That's amazing. I mean, I guess life's about memories as well and being grateful. So I'm sure that your dad isn't like finding an inconvenience in that sense. He's just taking it. Of course,
he's never complained. Never once has he ever complained. So again, I'm going to say this again. I'll say this 1,000 more times. I'm very grateful to have the father I have today.
It's amazing. And I know that I think you have two younger sisters, if I'm not mistaken.
Two younger sisters.
So you said like obviously they would have also, I guess, invested in your career. So tell us a bit more about like in what ways you feel like they supported you, or maybe they didn't. I don't know.
Oh, when they're still pretty young, both of them. One's 14 and one's 9 years old. So they're all pretty young still. Like before anything had worked out, and obviously before I got a contract, they didn't really know much. They would just say, "Oh, my brother's going to training and he's playing a game." They didn't really know the other side of it, and now they see that got a little bit of fame and a little bit of this and contracts. I travel a bit here and there, so they start to see that, and they see, "Oh, my brother's doing something good," and they start to get some recognition through, of course, me at school. Even like their teachers ask them, "Oh, you're Aryan's sister." I'm like, "Yeah." So they're also pretty happy about that, and again, like they're always supportive. They're all very, very supportive. They are very young, but they're always supportive and very sweet. So after a stressful day of cricket, I come home to them, and it's just all the problems go away.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, definitely. I mean, speaking for myself as well. You know, having parents that migrated for myself, like from Bangladesh to here, it's a struggle, right? So, like, I think compared to obviously Australians that have lived here and their parents have always lived here, it's a different situation where things are a little bit more easier. But then when you have parents that actually, you know, come from India, relocated, having to learn the language, working, studying, whatever it is, late nights and stuff like that. And for and to also like support their kids going through a career system is like so much more harder. And so I guess like in that sense, it goes to show like how supportive your parents have been and like, going through that struggle.
Like my father came to Australia 20 plus years ago, and he came with $500, and he was working for charities, driving taxi. He was almost going to become an electrician, but now he's got his own business in migration agency. So he pretty much built himself by himself. He had no handout, no one helped him. And yeah, like coming to Australia is pretty daunting for a young child from India. He wasn't really young. He was just about to turn 30, he said. So he could have had a much more lavish life when he was a bit younger, but he had to look after me. Mum had to look after me. And everything was sort of being invested back into the family. And I think I'm very happy that he did make that decision to come, and he only came with $500. So $500 in this day and age, I don't know how far I would get, but
yeah, it's insane. Like it goes to show as well, like now that they see you and, you know, you're playing, like, for example, I assume like when you made your, you know, under 17 carnival debut for Victoria, and then working your way through the grades, like, and also obviously representing Australia under 19s, like that would have been such a joyous moment for them, right? Like, because for them, like struggling that much, and then it's like, wow, my son was able to. It's like for them, it's like all the struggle is not really a struggle. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%. Again, I would never say I've struggled. I never had a bad day. Like, my father has the right to say that he was struggling when everything wasn't going well for him, because he first came to the country. Like, moving to the country as an immigrant and to stand up on your own 2 feet is very hard. Like, I'm sure you know that. Like, a lot of brown people know, like, moving to a different country is a big move and it may not go well. I think he took the leap of faith, and he still tells me, like, I never had a plan in life, Aaron. Like, so I always have a plan. And he says, like, wherever I've gone into life, I've just tried to work as hard as possible. So that's one thing I take from my dad. Just work as hard as possible and don't complain.
That's amazing. And I might actually touch on when you started, like when you played in the carnival and the under 17 carnivals, right? Like, you represented Victoria Metro, and you had opened the batting. You scored 73 off 62, opening the batting against Tasmania. You also scored 46 off 44 against Queensland, 58 not out off 52 balls against South Australia. I'm sure your parents would have been proud, your family would have been proud, because that's some, serious numbers in a obviously very competitive tournament. Like, a lot of, like, I've been interviewing other players, and it's like when you go through their scorecards on carnivals, you see all these other players have either playing state cricket or either playing for Australia. So it's a very competitive tournament in that sense. So, what's your trainings like? What was your preparation like in the lead up to that tournament? What do you feel like you did right in the tournament to score those amount of runs?
For that 17s carnival, one of our coaches, Shannon Young, he instilled in me that, like, we're going to make you open and you're going to take on the power play. So every time I've opened, whether that's for Victoria or anywhere I've played, is I've always been given the instruction, play your game, take on the power play. If we get 80 off the first 10, that's huge for us. I think for that carnival that we played in Launceston, yeah, I got some decent scores. I could have rarely made it big, but I'm grateful whoever the selectors were for the Aussie stuff. And we had a camp in India, so that was selected from that. So I think one thing I did really well in that campaign was I think I created a lot of impact in the game, and they saw that, and they obviously saw that as, we can take this guy somewhere, we can groom him, we can make him into a better player. And I think I'm still working on that fact where how can I make a big score? And no, like, you see a few scores there, like the 70 I made, I think I got out in the 12th or 13th over of a 50 over game. So I think really making it big and not just leaving scores like that out there on the table, which at the end of the day I did get picked, but I think leaving no room for not getting selected, I think that's pretty big as well. Like, making sure I'm really putting the nail on the head and just saying, you have to pick me.
And with those, because you're talking about making impact and aggression as well, for a lot of people, and I can speak from experience, like, it doesn't come naturally. So for yourself, would you say that kind of like that sort of approach to your batting, that having that intent, the aggression, taking on the power play, is that something that's natural to you?
I think so, 100%. Like, I've always sort of played like my shots. I've never really shied away from it, and I think finding that perfect balance of playing your shots, but also finding a way to bat for longer. So, like, I'd say in the last carnival we had for the 19s, one of my big focuses were trying to get past the power play with having that same impact, because it's obviously not easy trying to play high impact and trying to go about it that way and also keep your wicket. But I think there's a method to the madness. So when you put the method to the madness, that's when you see success.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, in terms of as well, people struggle with playing with that intent, right? Because everyone's different. So do you feel like you get nervous in that sense, or like that fear of failure comes in those situations? And what advice would you give to someone to allow themselves to express themselves?
Talking about fear of failure, just here. I'm sorry, I sidelined your question. I think this was one of the big focuses at the Stars. Don't fear the fear of failure. And that's just really stuck with me throughout my whole career. I think, like, I mean, no one wants to get out, but you can't be thinking about getting out if you're going to bat. Or when you're bowling, you can't think, he's going to hit me for 6, he's going to do this. You always got to take the positive route. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, like, you get another opportunity and to come back better and stronger.
And it's actually links to what you were talking about, like your accident and taking the positives out of it. Like you can, if you're always in that negative frame of mind, right? Like, and as I said, I speak from total experience, like just when you're playing cricket, when you're batting, if you're only thinking about negative, you're suddenly like moving slower. You're playing with, tentative. You're more likely to block in a way where you're not really, you might be edging it more so than playing with a positive mindset, if that makes sense. So you're getting to better positions.
Yeah, 100%. Like having that positive and attacking mindset on, not saying I'm going to hit every ball for six, but I'm going to, like you said, your positioning's better, the way you walk is better, like everything, just your confidence and your whole personality, your aura changes. I feel like when you have that when you have the confidence, I think, and Fergus talked about it, I think, having confidence is like one of his biggest skills and assets. Like he said, I think I watched one of the videos. He said, "I don't know you, but I'd said I'd smash you in table tennis." Like,
yeah.
So he has that confidence, and people find it annoying, but it just works for him. It just works. I think you see why he's such a successful bowler at state level, and I think he'll definitely be on the Aussie stage not too far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going to clip that part because you're quoting one of our clips. So, I'm glad a player like yourself is watching our videos. Yeah. And in terms of like, because I even observe like other players as well, like sometimes you have coaches that like try to diagnose a player like, oh, your technique is wrong here, this and that. And they're trying to fix this, specific issue in their batting. But then sometimes it's just more like, but they're just nervous. Like they're not, if they have that bit of confidence, and I've seen that player, I'm speaking from personal, I have a friend actually, I'm thinking about him, but like very talented player, talented batsman. But then I know like some players, like you just know when they're taking guard, you can just sense a nervous energy and you're just like, oh, he's not going to do well. But some players, like that same player in another day, if things align, he's just suddenly confident, like, and then like, oh wait, he's blocking better because, he looks better. He looks like he's going to score. So how do you sort of balance that? Because obviously players feel different all the time, right? Like some days it's going to feel nerve-wracking, some days because so many things happen in cricket, right? Like you come in a tough situation or whatever. So how do you maintain that level-headedness regardless of the madness and the noise?
I think you got to be really authentic to yourself and who you are as a person. Like Ferg, you'll never see him change. Like he could get smacked around, or he's probably not going so well, which he's always going pretty well, so it's pretty easy for him. But he never changes his personality. Like he could get hit for a 6, he could get hit for 20 off and over. He's like, who cares? Who cares? Like he just has that confidence about him, and I think that's why he's so successful. So I think he's obviously one of my mentors. I obviously look up to him a lot. Like last year was my first sort of half preseason. Like I was in and around with the boys, and I just loved spending my time with Ferg and just seeing his attitude towards the game. He's just a very good professional. Like he never complains. Like he could have 3 hours of sleep and he'll still come and he'll say, "Nah, I want to do it." So he wants to be the main man in that situation.
You're talking about your teammates here. It's interesting, like in terms of like dressing room culture and having players around you who are supportive, like that's also a huge part of helping with your confidence, right? So I'm sure you've played in different teams and different environments, and some can be a bit soul sucking maybe, and others can be very vibrant and lively as well. So do you prioritize that and try to make sure the culture is good within the dressing room? And how important is that to a player, especially in a team like Victoria as well?
I think I've been very fortunate enough to play in a few different teams. Like the Aussie U19 team we had, that had the best vibe. We didn't lose a game till the semis, and we just had the best vibe ever. Like we were ready, and everyone was just really supportive of each other, and I felt like we could still have those honest conversations, which help you grow, obviously. And then I'm fortunate enough with the Vics. We've got a pretty experienced group. Last year they almost won the Sheffield Shield, won like 7 or 8 games. That's never been seen before. It's like pretty rare. So I'm lucky to sort of enter a team that's in such a dominant phase, and I think learning from all the guys is just awesome, and I'm very grateful. And all the guys are just very open to having a chat anytime. Like no one's like got an ego, and everyone can talk to everyone. And I think we've created a very good environment, and I'm very grateful to just be a part of it.
And I'll bring this up because in the under-17 carnival, you actually played against your Australian under-19 teammates, Will Malachuk, Steve Hogan, and he actually dismissed both of them.
Yeah, I still tell them about that to this day.
So tell us a bit about that. Did you know they were going to be your teammates later? I assume not the case, right?
I think not really, but then again, like players have their own conversations. Like everyone was talking, oh, those two are really good batsmen and really good to look out for, and then obviously talks about yourself and other people like played in that World Cup side. So there are always like few talks here and there, like of these are the guys that are going to make it, and I'm like, I just want to get them their wicket, or I just want to have some sort of impact that helps our team. Malachek, that day he was batting, he probably made like 90 off not many balls, and he probably hit like 12 sixes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he was batting pretty well at that stage, and luckily he got the wicket of him. And Steve Hogan, one of my very good friends. We had a ACA camp about first year cricketers, and I think we've been really good friends. Like I roomed with him in Brisbane. I roomed with him in Africa. So I've always been around him, and I enjoy his company. He's a very funny guy, and I think he's one to look out for.
Yeah, that's amazing, and especially with them as well. I know Will Malachuk. I think has he got a rookie contract for WA?
He's got a full contract.
Full contract.
Full contract.
Like,
yeah.
You're seeing. Like,
he's got all the money.
And Nitish Samuel for Tasmania.
Nitish went to Tasmania. I think that's a very good move for him. Like we did have these conversations. Oh, what if you don't get picked up by your own state and another state's offering a contract? You obviously take it because like later on in your career you can make the move back to your own state. But I think that's a good move for him. He's moved out. He's staying away from home, and I think one of the things with Nitesh, he's a very independent person, and like his mannerisms, I feel like are very calculated. I'm sure you've seen that in the way he bats. Like everything's calculated, and it's very calm personality. But again, like one of his focuses during the World Cup was opening up and speaking to the boys, and I think he did that really well. Because in the 19s nationals before that, I reckon you could have counted how many words he said on your hands. And our coach, Tim Nielsen, still jokes about it to this day. But yeah, I think he's a very good character, and he's learning to open up, and I think that's really helping him as a cricketer.
Why I ask about Nitesh is because what stuck out to me is that he went to James Roos Agriculture, and so I'm from New South Wales. So I went to high school in New South Wales, and they have a thing called the selective school exam that you take in year 6, and you see all the subcontinent people and all of us, like, and all the like Chinese kids and all that kind of stuff. They're all like studying really hard. And so James Roos is like the ranked number 1 school in New South Wales. Yeah. So I'm like, that's pretty cool how he's like a proper Australian 19 cricketer, and he went to like very big high school, and then on top of that, I think he was going to be a doctor or something like that, or medicine.
I'm not too sure, but I think you got to think about it. Like he's 19 right now, I think, and he only played the last nationals. Wasn't a part of any of the World Cup stuff leading into the World Cup. He obviously got the most runs in that, and he's just a run machine. So I think we had to pick him, and I think he was averaging 90 in the World Cup, and he was just unreal. I think he'll go a real long way, and like you said, he also had the academics with him, and he's also a very good cricketer. Yeah,
it's amazing because I mean I can imagine, especially like subcontinent background himself as well. Like, it can go two ways. You can have like the the safety net of being a doctor.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go there, or take career, which is obviously a bit more risky. So it's stressful, like worrying about contracts and rookie contracts.
Like for me, like I never was one that focused on my academics, and I was horrible. I was horrible with it. Still go to school, kids. Like it's important. I think it's very important to still do your education. But if you do see yourself going in a way where you can make a career out of the game, I think give everything to that.
Yeah, definitely. That's great advice.
But yes, I never was really gifted to the academic side. I think I graduated school with 20% attendance.
Good. But I mean, that's like...
I still finished it off.
It's about, I guess, finding what, you're best at and finding your skill set.
100%,
so,
100%.
It could be academics, could be sports, whatever it is, but give it your all in that sense. I actually wanted to touch on, I know in season 25 to 26, I think if I'm correct, it was before the World Cup, you played a series with India, against India, in the India under-19. So that would have been your debut series as well for Australia under-19. Like when you got the call up, what was the experience like? And on top of that, you got a chance to play against, Vaibhav Suravanshi. So that must have been He wasn't actually, I guess, IPL famous in the way he is now back then, if I'm not mistaken. But
And back then he still had a little bit of fame, but obviously after this IPL you just see how he's blown up, and I think rightfully so. He's an amazing cricketer, and I think he'll go a very long way. Seems like he has a very good head on him, pretty humble. And yeah, I think he'll just keep killing it. I think hopefully he doesn't hit me for any sixes in the future, but yeah.
So what sort of, at that time when you're playing against such players, like what was the planning going into that game, and how did you approach bowling to such players?
I think I've always had one thing is I've never cared about the opposition or who's on the other team. But I feel like in cricket, there's so many variables. On any given day, anyone can beat anyone. But yeah, like you sort of just accept the fact that he's a very good player, of course. If he gets you, like, again, he's gotten Pat Cummins, he's gotten Josh Hazlewood, he's gotten all the world-class bowlers. Like no one's ever been hit like that. Like I don't think he's hit everyone in world cricket, and I think you just gotta think, take a minute to relax and say he's one of the better players in the world. So I think just take it as an opportunity, or like, let's go. Even if you get hit for 6 sixes and over, think how you can come back from that and just keep moving forward positively.
It sort of in a weird way frees you up, right?
Yeah,
do you
100%.
find that at times, like, do you try to have that mindset across like all different kinds of plays that you bowl to? Like you try to be as free as possible and you know, try to stick to your strengths.
I think 100%, like speaking with Storian and Maxi, like just bowling to those two guys, like they're one of the most destructive batsmen in world cricket, and I think bowling to them during that Big Bash time, that really helped before the World Cup. Just with my mentality and just saying, okay, if these two are the best in the world at what they do, I think I shouldn't be scared of any under-19 cricketers.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also I wanted to jump to, like, for example, your under-19 captain Oliver Peake as well. Now he's like debuting for Australia. He's played against Pakistan. So what's that been experience like? You know, you're basically your counterpart, your teammate in under-19s is now representing Australia, and now especially Victorian teammate as well, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
what's that been like for yourself? Has it been like inspiring and kind of
I'm just very happy for him. I think I don't think a lot of people know this. I think that he played in the JG Craig Shield for Plenty Valley like ages ago, like when he was maybe very young. He broke the record of most runs in that carnival, and the next year I played the same carnival. I missed his record by 20 runs. I made a duck in the last game. So I really I never really met him like at that stage, but just seeing his name and how many hundreds this kid makes, he just makes mountain of runs. That really motivated me to like, I want to beat him. I want to break his record. But yeah, and like never in doubt to be in the situation he's in right now, playing for Australia. He's 19 years old. He's played 2 World Cups. And I think he's just a golden boy. He's just a star, and I think he'll always be shining. And like he may face some tough times, but he won't stay down for long. If he misses out, the next game he's definitely coming and get you.
And so why I asked Oliver Peake is because I've probably said this on every episode, but I went to Geelong and I did 2 batting sessions with him. And he was, you know, such an incredibly insightful, smart guy. You can tell, like, he's way beyond his years. So it's not surprising where, you know, Australia, obviously the selectors are investing in him because they see that potential. Obviously he's done well in the World Cup and that kind of stuff. So
100%.
that must be, you know, inspiring for yourself, and, you know, being able to be like, okay, he's done it, I can do it, and kind of pushing
And
you
of
in
course,
that sense,
like I think the more you celebrate your teammates' success, the further you will go in life, because you're so happy for someone. I think you'll definitely reach the same level if you're not hateful of anyone or you don't envy anything anyone does. I think you'll make it 100%, because the worst thing you can do is hate on someone or say, oh, he shouldn't be picked, he hasn't done enough, or he's not that good. But I think like with what Peake he's done, he's 19 years old playing for Australia. He's just, I don't know, it's just there's too many not too many words that you wouldn't say to sum up about him. Like he's very mature, very well versed in the words he says. He's very articulate. So yeah, I think like at just such a young age, how can you have that mentality of a 30-year-old almost? I think Ferg said that on one of your on your reels. So yeah, I think he's very well past his years, and I think he'll go very far.
As well for yourself, it was pretty recently as well, like because you've played obviously age group carnival, you got a rookie contract. And how did your family feel when you got when the news was announced that you got the Victorian rookie contract?
Family was very proud. I had a gut feeling I'd get one, but not 100% sure. Of course, like those things aren't guaranteed. Like, but I had a little gut feeling I would get one. I'm like, I probably haven't done all the work like with my stats and probably didn't have the best year, but I still backed myself in. I'm like, I still reckon I'll get it. And then obviously my manager, he rang me and told me, oh, I've got a rookie contract. And that was one of the happiest moments. I called Dad straight away. I let him know. And I think that was really, really proud for me because like I've come from Indian heritage and I think it's just very proud that I didn't have any handouts from anyone. I didn't know anyone. I've just purely come into the system from my hard work and that's it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And on top of that as well, what do you feel like what are the advantages of having a rookie contract when it comes from like a training perspective? Like, is it because you're able to be part of the Victorian setup consistently that allows you to gain a lot of inside knowledge as opposed to not having a rookie contract?
I think you've perfectly hit the nail on the head there. Like, just the insights they have, like the way they think about the cricket, I think that just fast tracks your development. And you feel like you're entering professional cricket with so many good players around you. I feel like you sort of get up to speed a lot quicker and then your development happens a lot quicker. And the coaches always talk about, oh, we want to develop you as a player. We want you to get better. But like at the end of the day, like again, you still want to be playing even as a rookie. Like, my goal this year is hopefully I can play a few games, whether that's at the start of the year, end of the year. I just want to play a few games and get a few names under my belt, So yeah, I think our focus is definitely like learning as much as I can, and our coach Chris Rogers, his biggest thing for me has been, try to be the best professional you can be. And he said everything else will look after itself. He said, don't worry about selection. Don't worry about all the other things that don't matter. Just worry about showing up with full intensity and just excited to be there. So I think as a rookie, it's pretty hard to go wrong. Like just come, show up with 110% intensity and just have the willingness to learn. I think if you have that willingness to learn, you'll go very far.
Give us a bit of insight about Chris Rogers because, obviously he played for Australia. I was full of insight, I'm sure, especially, opening the batting. And even as coach, I noticed like he wasn't afraid to put Sam Harper as opener and that kind of
100%.
stuff. So
I think the good thing with him, what he's done, he still has his players that are quite attacking and he doesn't try to take that out of them. He wants them to hone that and still stay true to what they are. You just saw Sam Harper's amazing year that he had. If he goes and says, I don't want you to play that way in a Shield game, he probably doesn't have the year he has because the Shield wickets were very challenging. You saw the highest averages were in the 30s. Like, if you're averaging 30, you're a gun. So I think he just stayed very true to his game and he lets his players play their game. But he also wants you to learn. Like, he doesn't want you being reckless, of course. But still staying true to your game and just being positive.
Yeah, amazing. And on top of that as well, I was in terms of Melbourne Stars. So you were part of the Melbourne Stars setup.
Yeah.
And I was telling my brother-in-law, one of the games, because I'm Bangladeshi, like Rishad Hussain was playing for Hobart Hurricanes, so they played a game at MCG. I'm like, I'll go watch him in person. And funny, I actually bumped into Imrul Kays in the I don't know if you know Imrul Kays. He played for Bangladesh. He was watching the game at the ground as well.
Yeah.
But then you know how like there's MCG nets and you can watch players train and stuff like that. Yep. And we connected on Instagram before this anyway. But I saw you training with the team and bowling to them and stuff. Yeah. But I didn't want to be too creepy. I didn't want to message you, be like, I'm watching it. That'd be a bit weird. But that was pretty cool. Like I was just observing that, and you're like, bowling. You're bowling like it was a pretty hot day actually. I remember. As well, and not all the players were like out and warming up. Obviously, all players approach different, but you're like full still bowling to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's Tom Rogers or other players like that.
I think all the batters they came in because it was before the game, so I think each batter has their own routine. But I was just there trying to help them out, and also I was getting help for my bowling as well, like bowling to these very good batsmen like Tom Rogers. Like I feel like he's one of the best players of spin. in Australia. Like you just feel like you can't bowl to him as a spinner. Like he's got to answer for everything, and he just seems to score very easily off spin, especially me spinning into him. I always find it very hard bowling to him, but I'll never let him know that. But
Yeah, no, I can imagine, especially like for yourself, you're probably like 18, 19 at that age.
yeah, I just freshly turned 18 maybe.
So that must be like crazy experience, like, you know, playing alongside all these players as well. So tell us a bit more about that experience, like, you know, bowling to them, and what sort of learnings did you take being in the Stars setup, and what did you pick up over that season?
I think when I first joined the Stars, I was 17 years old, and I never really it was just so surreal to just be in the environment. So I was just trying to soak everything in and just enjoy the moment. So yeah, I think the biggest takeaways from them were just, they're so humble, all of them. Every single one of them just has a chat if you need to talk about anything. I messaged Thorn for the first time during Big Bash, and it was after a game. It was pretty late at night. I think he was going home, and he still replied to me once he obviously got out the car. And he didn't just give me like a one-worded response. He gave me paragraphs on things I can work on and what's going to help me take my cricket to the next level. So just seeing how the humility they have. Like Peter Siddle, it's taken 267 wickets for Australia. He's taken a hat-trick. He's taken 700 plus first-class wickets. And he's still playing, and he's probably in his 40s. He still comes and runs with us at training, and even though he's not contracted, he still comes and runs, and still bowling rockets.
It's crazy. And it's on the batting side as well. Did you get an opportunity to face players like Peter sitting in the nets and stuff like that?
Not luckily. I'm lucky I didn't face any of them. I think Rauf was bowling pretty fast in the nets, and he would tell everyone what he was bowling before he bowled it. So, but that was pretty daunting just watching the way he was bowling. And some of the Pakistani guys, they're just like, I'm sure you've seen Rana for Bangladesh. He's bowled pretty fast, and he's taking a lot of eyes. But Harris, he's a very good fella. Like I connected with him straight away. We both speak Punjabi, so I connected really well with him, and like he's played international cricket and one of the best. And again, how humble and how willing he was to just have a conversation with some random 17-year-old he's met.
That's crazy. And I know, like you said, you didn't face him, but I'm sure obviously you would have been trained to face high pace, right? Like, so what's the approach when it comes to, because that's a big jump, right? Like, you know, if you're facing 125, 130 clicks to like facing 140, 145. So what advice do you give to players to be able to face a high pace, and what have you done yourself to be able to adjust to such high pace against quality bowlers?
I think the main thing is whatever the pace of the ball, whether it's spin, pace, or it's swinging, or it's nipping, I think just being still on impact, that's one of the main things all the batters at CV talk about. Like Sammy Harper, like this year I had a chat with him. He was saying why I felt so good this year and everything clicked. I was so clear on what he wanted to do. Like you'd see first ball, he did over point for 6 in a red ball game. Like he was just so clear on, if the ball's out here, I'm slashing. If it's at the stumps, I'm flipping him over there. And I think there was a stat, like he would play the ramp shot a lot before last year. And this year he didn't play the ramp shot a heap, but he's one of the best at that shot, and he still didn't play that a lot. He was playing more conventional cricket, and he was just watching the ball and hitting the ball. He said, I've never been so clear in my life. And I think that clarity, if you can achieve that level of clarity, you'll see yourself having those successful years.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's
whether
like
that's with the
advice.
ball or bat or in the field. It doesn't have to be strictly batting. Again, when you're at the top of your mark, having clarity on what I'm going to do, what's my plans against this batter.
And obviously, there can be plans prior to the game that you have for certain bowlers, if you're batting in this case. But in the game, it can change, right? So when do you feel like, have you found a lot of times where your plan does change, and why would it change during the game?
Say the conditions change, like say the wicket starts to spin a bit more, or it's a bit flatter, there's dew. So there's a lot of different factors, I think. So you got to be able to go on the fly, especially with T20 cricket. Batters might pull out different shots that you may have not seen in the meeting. So I think keeping an open mind and trying to react as late as possible, and don't blink first either. Like one of the big things with the fast bowlers at Cricket Victoria and above, like their still main focus is to hit the top of the stumps and not blink first. Like, see if the batters hit you for 6, not just go straight away to plan B. Plan B. Still just trying to execute plan A, and then till you get hit 3 or 4 times, then you change your plan. Because what if he tries to do the same thing in top edge and he's gone? So I think that's one of those things.
Okay, no, that's definitely like great advice when it comes to especially batting and batsmanship as well. I know you've been so generous with your time. I'll ask a few more questions before we wrap up. But when it comes to especially who would you say is your toughest batsman you face and the toughest bowler you face?
In the nets or
just in general? Yeah, it could be in the nets or in the game.
Toughest batter, I won't say. I'll keep that private.
Okay. How about then bowler?
Bowlers, I can't really put a name to mind. There's a few in there that were pretty good.
Okay, you can just name a few then. You don't have to.
Like in the World Cup, like a couple of the English bowlers are good. Couple of Indian bowlers in that Brisbane series were good. Again, I won't say names, just to keep it private. You know?
And in terms of like, what advice would you have for a young batter coming up the ranks, especially from a subcontinent background, when it comes to being part of the cricket system and trying to become the best player that they can be?
I think me coming from Indian heritage, people also stereotype in their head. They think, oh, just because I'm brown, I won't make it. I think you got to get rid of that dilemma in your mind. There's no such thing as that in cricket. If you're good enough, you'll play. I think that's almost as a safety net, saying, oh, I couldn't make it because I'm brown. I don't think that's true. You can see so many people playing cricket. Nikhil Chaudhary's got a call up to the Australian team in Bangladesh. So I don't think you should write yourself off any skin colour you are or wherever you're from. At the end of the day, if you're good enough, you play. And I think you got to get that out of your mind that, oh, just because I'm this religion or this race or I'm from this country, I won't make it. I think people use that as a way out, saying, oh, that's why I didn't make it.
And on top of that as well, I know you mentioned meditation or like staying present, but are there any other psychological tools that you use? Like, I don't know, it could be journaling or anything else that you do prior to the game to help you stay focused for the game.
I think journaling was one very powerful one. Again, that's where the manifestation comes into it. And then I want to reach out to our sports psychiatrist, is it?
Yeah, psychologist.
Psychologist.
Yeah.
Psychologist. I think I want to reach out to him and speak to him about just the mental pressures of the game. Like this year was my first year where I took a month or 2 off after the season, and I felt awesome coming back into it. Just feel very fresh and just ready to go. Whereas previous years are like a week break after the year, and I'm just straight back into it. So really having that sort of relaxed, but I know what my plan is leading up into the games. So I think that's given me a lot of confidence and clarity. And sorry, what was it more?
I mean, any other tools that you use?
Mainly journaling. I think journaling, meditation a little bit, not that consistent with meditation. Breathwork was very important and vital for that World Cup, I feel. And yeah, I think I just take away all the breathwork stuff. There's obviously a recovery component in it. I think just being the best professional is as well, like sleeping on time, eating good food, recovering well, training hard, and all that put together should be pretty successful.
And what sort of stuff do you get up to in your downtime? Like when you have some free time, like what do you like doing?
My downtime, I love playing paddle. I'm not sure if you've...
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like tennis but like small.
Smaller versions, got balls. I love paddle. Probably gonna have to get into golfing soon.
It's all the players.
Yeah, all the players play, so I probably have to start hitting some balls. And going on drives, long drives, traveling is pretty good as well. Like a couple of weeks ago, I went up to the peninsula just to go to the hot springs for a day.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and that was awesome.
We went last year, but we didn't go to the hot springs though. But I know a lot of like people love that kind of area of Melbourne. And
I just love driving around. Like even if it's aimlessly, like I just love driving.
Okay, yeah. I mean, put some, I don't know, do you listen to music and stuff like that, like long drives, putting like Drake,
I listen to music,
Punjabi music as well?
Punjabi music, Drake, anything that has a good beat to it that's positive. Like I love house music. I love pretty much every music. There's not much I don't like.
What's your favorite artist?
Probably Drake.
And so on top of that as well, are you following the FIFA World Cup? Do you have like a team you follow?
I'll be following Portugal.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Ronaldo's my guy. So are you Real Madrid fan?
Oh, just Ronaldo fan.
Oh, okay. So
everywhere Ronaldo goes, I go there.
Why is Ronaldo inspirational for you? Like, what's the reason?
Very inspirational. Just what he's done. Like he came from nothing. Like he was just a little kid from Lisbon, and I don't believe he had his father with him growing up.
I think he was young and passed away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So Ronaldo, he's just an idol for me. I think just the way how he looks after his body, and he's just been the ultimate professional. He's 40 now, is he?
I think so, yeah.
He's 40 years old, and he's still performing at like 20 years old.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, like, what other football? Do you follow a club team? Like, do you follow any other sports that you?
I'm not really like religiously following anything. I like sport. Like I watch a bit of footy here and there, NRL sometimes, UFC. I'm not really like fully into it, like all sport, but mainly cricket, I'd say.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, busy guy with rookie contracts, so you probably don't have time to...
Not too busy. I got heaps of time on my hands.
But I appreciate you coming on the show. You shared a lot of insights, and it's really exciting, especially being a youngster. Playing, getting that rookie contract and playing for Australia under 19s. That must be a crazy journey. So I think we're all excited for the next few years and how it goes, and seeing what you come up with essentially. And I don't know if you had any sort of final thoughts before we wrap up the show.
Just thanks for having me. I'm very grateful to be on here, and hopefully we can have a few more of these podcasts. I'm performing well, hopefully.
No, I appreciate your time as well, and I think it's been a privilege and an honor for myself just to have conversations, and everything that you mentioned. Especially, I think I personally really enjoyed about how you take positives out of all situations. I think it's a beautiful mindset to be in, and in all situations, despite what negative you face, it's all about trying to be optimistic. So.
Like you see Hardik Pandya when he was facing a very tough time. He had a divorce. He wasn't performing as good. He won the World Cup, and obviously everyone's on his side again. So I think having that mentality of nothing phases me, and I'm confident, and I will get through everything, I think that will take you very far.
Yeah, definitely, and it's great to see someone like yourself, a youngster, have that mindset. So
So I don't think you can. Sorry to cut you off there. I don't think confidence can be like trained. It's just either you have it or you don't. Like maybe some cases you can start to build more confidence, but when you have that sheer confidence of I can destroy anyone, I can beat anyone, I can win, I think that's just natural.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's do you feel like with you it's like something you just always had growing up from a nature? Like, did you have anyone that tried to coach you into having this kind of confidence or not?
More, not really at like when I was young, but just watching cricketers and the way they go about it, like the aura of Hardik Pandya. You see, like wherever he's going, he's making a statement, and he just has that sheer confidence in himself. And then you can see Ferg's last few years, just watching him, how he's developed and how confident he is about himself. So I think having that confidence in yourself as a person, that's going to take you so far.
Yeah, definitely agreed. And yeah, thank you for your time, man. I'm definitely keen to do more of this in the future as well. So I'll wrap it up there. So for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. So feel free to check us out. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok as well. But you can listen to the full podcast on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube as well. We're also on Amazon Music, so we're on different platforms. So check us out, support us. We've interviewed a lot of different cricketers with incredible insights as well. So from our special guest Aryan Sharma, wish you all the best. This is Tandem signing off. Thank you very much. It's a wrap.